Hey everybody, as I had promised, I was going to make a video today, specifically about the Daily News. And to begin this video, I will start this by showing you Monday, June 12th edition, the cover. This is the cover of the Daily News right there. This right here in particular is what incensed me to a degree, and I'll read it for you. A riotously comic conspiracy overthrows President Trump in a tale even loonier than Washington. See pages 10 to 13. 10 to 13. That means the Daily News, by the way, even before those the 9 pages prior to that, no real news. And you can read the paper for yourself. There's nothing of value in here, really, except for like maybe one story, which was tucked in the back, which was about... Actually, no, that was tomorrow. That was Tuesday's paper, so never mind. Yeah, 4 pages they dedicated to a fictional political satire on the fall of Trump. Where's the actual news? That's what I want to know, Daily News. Where's the news? Okay, and just for reference, this is Tuesday, June 13th edition. Oh my god, Alex Jones went on with Megyn Kelly. Oh man, we platformed a crazy. Oh, you know what else platforming a crazy does with a responsible journalist on the other end? Shows how crazy that person is. So, other than the Sandy Hook parents who should be upset about it, the average person, it's quit virtue signaling, really. And just to give you a taste of how astoundingly lacking the Daily News is when it comes to self-awareness, if you open it up and read the article about Megyn Kelly, in the corner here, she's Megyn a mistake in flake news. They don't even realize, you are the fake news. It's so obvious to rational people that you care more about selling your papers than actually informing the people you're supposed to be informing, what your institution is supposed to do. And just to exemplify my point, I took the time to find real news stories that you could have covered. So here we go. I'll start with this one. Number 1 from June 10th. I found this on Raw Story via the LA Times, and Democracy Now! Covered it as well. 3 U.S. servicemen were killed in Kabul. They were hit by a roadside car bomb. It was in the Achin district, which is in, what city was it? Nangarhar. Anyway, it was claimed that the Taliban had infiltrated the Afghan commandos, and it was a Taliban plant that opened fire on these 3 U.S. servicemen before other Afghan troopers gunned down the renegades, so to speak. So, where was the coverage on that story? Not a word of that in either of these. And that's the other thing. I checked both papers to see if they would cover any of these stories. Nothing. So let's go to number 2 from June 9th. Got this one from the Irish Times. 31 people killed, 35 wounded in suicide bombing in Musayyab. ISIS claims responsibility. Attack coincided with another suicide bombing in the Shia holy city of Karbala, 30 kilometers east of Musayyab. The second attack left 4 wounded, but no casualties reported. Both bombers had been women. So there's that one. No, nothing about that. Let's go to number 3 here. This comes from Democracy Now! U.S. military carries out a drone strike in southern Somalia against al-Shabaab. 8 militants were killed in the attack when the drone struck their camp. The Hellfire missiles were launched from a Reaper drone out of a U.S. military base in Djibouti. Again, no coverage there. Daily News, nothing. Yeah, that seems important. We'll take this up a bit, because I don't think this is something you could have covered on your front page, but definitely would have been worth a mention. This goes to June 7th via the Tribune News Service. Earliest fossil evidence of Homo sapiens found in Morocco. They were found beside flint artifacts suggesting tool use as far back as 300,000 years. There were 22 specimens found, totaling a total of 5 individuals, 2 of whom had been young adults, 1 teenager, and 2 children between 7 and 8.5. But, let's not talk about one of the, a huge anthropological discovery like that. No, that's not news, right? That's not going to sell your paper. Alright, number 5, June 13th via AP News. Oh, in your city. This one happened in your city where you're supposed to be informing people. There was a carbon monoxide leak in a building 3 blocks from the World Trade Center that sickened 32 people. The authorities from the local fire, from the NYPD, also, said that it had been a broken boiler pipe in a grocery store basement, and ultimately not deemed hazardous. So all the injuries resulting from this were relatively minor. But it did raise enough alarm that it disrupted several city blocks during, high traffic times. But not a peep from the Daily News. No. Just why? Why? Alright, let's move on to the next one. June 13th, 2017, via AP News. We have 2 separate stories concerning deteriorating relations with Russia. That seems pretty important. I don't know about, the rest of you guys, especially you, the Daily News. I mean, I think you should be all on this. U.S. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson cautions against cutting off talks with Russia amidst the conflict in Syria. And you can read more about these stories for yourself. I'm not going to get into the meat of them right now. I'm just making a point of why are you not covering? Why is the Daily News ignoring these stories? I mean, and just for example here, I'll show you. We have the New York Times from Monday, June 12th. And at least the New York Times will give you a decent article from time to time. Like here, we have an article on the opioid crisis right here on the cover. ISIS in the Philippines. Deepening divide between the Democrats, which is something that we need to pay attention to, because that is very much happening. At least the New York Times is still doing something alright. But you, the Daily News, whew, oh boy. Alright, so let's continue this list. June 13th, 2017, via AP News. Oh, this one's pretty significant. Michigan veteran of the Vietnam War becomes Trump's first Medal of Honor recipient. Yeah, let's not recognize, when Trump does anything decent, For all the flaws and the, ideological nonsense that goes against him. To be fair, there are legitimate criticisms too, but not many people are making those. Including you, Daily News. I mean, you dedicated 4 pages to a satire! The recipient's name is James McLaughlin, a U.S. Army medic whose unit nicknamed him Doc, called him Doc. He was honored for his role in saving the lives of many soldiers during a days-long battle of I'm going to butcher this, but Nui Yon Hill in 1969. He voluntarily risked his life on several occasions despite being hampered by shrapnel injuries for the sake of rescuing his comrades. He refused treatment and evacuation in order to stay behind to do this. But, let's not talk about this American hero that Trump wanted to honor with his first Medal of Honor recipient. No, Daily News, that's not good enough for you. June 13th, 2017, via U.S. News and the Washington Post. Oh, here's another good one. North Korea released jailed University of Virginia student Otto Warmbier. The State Department was key in securing his release. And the reason that he was even released is he has supposedly been in a coma for over a year. And he's being medically evac'd back to the United States. I guess it's hard for the North Koreans to interrogate him when he's, not conscious. You don't force him into labor. So, and if, Otto Warmbier, if you found a way to do that to yourself, to get out of that sentence, kudos, man. Way to get the hell out of there. Alright, so anyway. Oh, here we go. And now June 13th, 2017, for the Associated Press. EU threatens 3 of its member countries with legal action if they continue their refusal of compliance with the Migrant Sharing Plan. These countries are Poland, the Czech Republic, and Hungary. The Czech Republic, Hungary, Romania, and Slovakia had all originally voted against the EU scheme to integrate all these refugees in the first place. And Hungary and Slovakia in particular have previously launched legal action against the migration plan. In fact, the Hungarian Foreign Minister, Peter Szijjártó, I probably butchered that, has been particularly outspoken and claimed that the EU has no rights to take away its states, the members of it, its states' rights, pretty much. Think of the way we do it in the U.S. That's kind of what he's saying in the EU, that they have no right to impinge on the state's sovereignty to force them to open their borders. And he called the plan by the EU Parliament blackmail and un-European. So, that's another thing that might have been covered. I got two more for you guys, and then we're gonna wrap this up. I'm gonna say my goodbye, but let's do this. All right, here we go. June 12th, 2017, via the Times of Israel. I had to go look out of the country to find news. And to be fair, this writer got a lot of his information from the Washington Post. Another U.S. appeals court rules in favor of keeping Trump's travel ban blocked. Claimed the president violated immigration law. A unanimous ruling was from 3 judges who said it was a violation because it was discriminatory against people because of their nationality and failed to demonstrate how it would hurt American interests. Judge Derek Watson ruled the true purpose of ban was to discriminate against Islam, not to protect national security. And he said this violates the Constitution, which prohibits a government from officially favoring or disfavoring any particular religion. Several states and civil rights groups have challenged the revised ban, claiming it to still be rooted in discrimination and that it exceeds the president's authority. Didn't see a thing of that in the Daily News. Maybe a little bit. I briefly skimmed, to be fair. And here, last one, again, from the Times of Israel. The New York Attorney General opened an investigation into the Eric Trump Foundation. Yeah, this is this is right up your guys' alley. You should have been covering this. Accusations are that the nonprofit organization has been funneling money into for-profit accounts. But the reports also show that the foundation has raised more than $11 million for the St. Jude's Hospital, with whom it is associated. Now, I might be wrong on that last one. I think the Daily News might have mentioned that, but it would have been in the middle of the paper. Nothing near the front where anybody could read that. And especially for you, Daily News, is trying to use Trump to just sell your papers. It's so obvious. So let's get back to the papers for a second here, because I want to get back to Monday's issue. Again, this is the cover right here. All right, 4 pages of satire. Page 7 is about the play of Julius Caesar, where they decided to assassinate a guy who looks like Trump on stage. Yeah, that's cool. And then this little corner here, booze for terrorists here, and these are kind of ridiculous all in their own right. But if any of these would have been worthy of the front cover, it would have definitely been the fact that the Puerto Rican parade had a terrorist in its midst. But no, that's going to be a tiny corner because you care more about your satire and your plays where they make fun of Trump. Oh my god. Alright, well, that's all I really wanted to go on with this right now. This is going to be unedited because I, quite frankly, don't have the time or the equipment to really do that right now. But I did promise a video, so here it is. I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you understand the point I'm trying to demonstrate to you, which is don't buy the Daily News. Don't support the Daily News. I mean, I'll concede. They still have a great sports section, but that's not enough to keep this paper going. Please stop buying the Daily News. Alright? I love all you guys. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time.